Well, hello everyone. Good morning. My name is Kim Schott. I'm the owner and founder of Thriving Practice Coaching. And twice a month during the summer months, I love to be able to bring on a guest who is a licensed healthcare practitioner and is working with patients either in a direct primary care, a concierge medicine, or in a wellness practice. And I'd love to interview them to share with you, my audience, about what they're doing to improve the quality of people's lives in their community. Uh, at this time, I'm interviewing Dr. Tanya English. She is known as a soul chiropractor. That is spelled SOUL. She's a chiropractor for your soul. And so, Dr. Tanya, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule away from patients to be interviewed today about how you've been working with your patients, why you're known as a soul chiropractor. So why don't we begin, Dr. Tanya, by you letting everyone know where on earth are you located, and your story about becoming a soul chiropractor? What is your healing journey?
Well, thanks for having me, Kim. I so appreciate doing this for you and your audience because more people need to experience the power that they have within for healing. And that's my purpose, is to help people get in touch with that part of themselves and use it to their highest good. And Soul Chiropractor came about as a result of me doing more and more learning and introspection, meditation on what I was really doing in my practice that would bring my gifts to the front of what I do. And I'm very intuitive and have been since I was a little child, and allow myself to finally step into that role. And a soul chiropractor, because chiropractors remove interference from the nervous system. That's why they move bones, because they're moving the bones off of the nerve so that they're not pressing on the nerve, right? So when we move things back where they belong and they can move easily, that's where we're releasing that interference and releasing more of life force because it's flowing through the nervous system. And so I'm always interested in what's the cause, what's the root cause of this. So in chiropractic college, they don't talk about this so much, but there's 4 causes for subluxation, which means partial dislocation, which is what chiropractors work on. And the 4 causes are toxins, anything that's poisonous. Trauma could be stepping off a curb, causes trauma. It doesn't have to be something big like a car accident, but that's also trauma. Toxins, thoughts, because you can think any stinking thing you want, and that causes physiology in the body. And also timing. That's the body doing something that's already been done, but it becomes a pattern. And so now it's doing it subconsciously all the time. So when we're correcting those things, what's the one thing that's the same in all of those? It's how you feel, because your feelings are creating your physiology. Really easy to see that in thoughts, but how do you get out of touch with your feelings so much that things are toxic around you?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So we in normal, when we don't have all of that bombarding us, we can tell if something isn't going to agree with our body or agree with our soul. So the whole time is like, let's remove all of the beliefs that don't serve us anymore, the things that we were taught that don't make any sense to us, that are cognitive dissonance, like you have to be fair, and then to find out that life isn't fair. I mean, there's your big cognitive dissonance right there. We always have to play fair, but life isn't fair. Okay, well, wait a minute, which is it? Right. So, yeah. So clearing all that kind of debris that kind of lands on us, that starts to work on us physically too. You know, some of the work that I do has to do with ancestors and loading that into the DNA.
Wow.
So if you...
That's heavy work.
It is, but it's so easy for us to clear it up. That's why I do the techniques that I do. I do about a dozen different techniques that I call Blue Note Healing Method, because I could give you all the names of the techniques, and I will, but it takes some time to learn all these things and then put them into practice. And I've been in practice for over 30 years, so I've been doing this for quite a while. My healing journey has been to find out what is in charge of everything. What's in charge? Because from a very young age, I'm like, well, my parents aren't in charge. They don't know what's going on. And I don't know what's going on. So who's in charge of all this? So that started me on a spiritual journey. And as I was taking that spiritual journey, I just kept following the leading that I was being given. So I would say, like, I went all through my undergraduate. I was in theater school at Boston University, and I had a couple of really negative experiences right before I graduated and right after I graduated. And a friend of mine said, why don't you look into massage therapy? You're really good at it. And so I took this big left turn and went into massage therapy, studied anatomy and physiology and nutrition, 2 really hard courses, and I really loved it because I was getting down to the basic steps of what it is, who we are. It was the same impetus in theater. If I can have somebody see something from a different point of view, have them feel an emotion from a different point of view, then healing can occur. I don't know why I knew that, but I did. And so that's what I kept looking at. I kept looking at that. So then as I was doing massage therapy, I really liked working in chiropractic offices. It's a safer environment than working in a hotel or a spa or a health club. For women, it can be a fairly dangerous experience.
Yeah.
And so I wanted somebody who was going to be a gatekeeper there. And then I just thought, well, why aren't I just go ahead and be a chiropractor? So
Okay.
I moved from the East Coast. Like, what's stopping me? Nothing. So I moved from the East Coast to Iowa. That's where I am now. I met a nice guy and ended up staying here. And we just celebrated our 30th anniversary of the day we met. 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven.
Yeah, love it.
And so what happened was as I'm doing this journey, right after we got married, I was pregnant and we became parents. He had 2 daughters from his previous marriage. My husband did, my bonus daughters. And our son that I was pregnant with was stillborn. And so because I'm a spiritual type person and I understand there's that of God in all of us, I said, why is this happening? Right. Not, the first question you ask is, what did I do wrong? Well, yeah. I didn't do anything wrong. I was in chiropractic college. I was stressed because I was taking a very heavy load. I was trying to finish up. I was in this great relationship. I was, wildly in love and having a great pregnancy. So what actually happened and why would this serve me? So I had a decision to make. And I remember very vividly saying to myself, do you really believe everything happens to the highest good or not?
Wow.
Let that sink in for a minute.
Yeah, you have to for a second. And you have to stop everything and say, that is a deep question.
Here's the 2x4 of harsh reality hitting you over the head. What are you going to do about it?
Oof. Right.
Yeah.
And when it says everything, that question means everything.
All of it.
All
of your experience in life. Does it all happen to the highest good or not? And how do you find the good? So I went down the road in my mind, just for a little bit of like, okay, this isn't good. This is a terrible tragedy and lives have been lost and, the whole 9 yards. And I could check out of my life and nobody would wonder why. And here I have carte blanche to quit what I'm doing and just like do whatever else. And I couldn't think of anything else. It was just like a blank. So I thought, okay, that doesn't feel good. Let me go down the road of this is to the highest good. Show me the good. Okay, God, I'm going to believe that. Show me the good. And I looked and there was my husband right there, loving, nurturing, supportive.
No.
And I thought, wow, this is a big gift because we were sitting looking at the ultrasound. We both knew what we were looking at, a heart that wasn't beating. And I turned and looked at him and I said, "Are we okay?" And he said, "Yes, we're okay."
Oof.
I know. I said,
Wow.
"Okay, then I can do this." And
Yeah.
he sat next to me the entire time. I mean, when you're going to have a stillbirth and you're in the hospital, they put everything in you that they can. Pitocin and, forceps, just it's epidural. It's just exactly the opposite of what I wanted. Everything
Right.
opposite.
Yeah. And you needed him to be there for you at that
Yeah. I
time.
mean, at one point, I think they
Wow.
drugged me a little too much because he was saying, "Okay, take a breath in, honey." Because I'd exhale and then I wouldn't breathe in.
Right. Okay.
Very relaxing to exhale. Why would I want to breathe in again? I have to use
Right.
my
Yeah.
muscles. So he was helping me breathe and I couldn't feel anything. And then I was holding my baby. And I was looking at my baby who looked just like my husband. And my in-laws, who are both pastors, came in. We dedicated him. I had a couple of friends from school that showed up that held him. It was a really special time, and that feeling of Holy Spirit being with us through it was so palpable and so easy to feel. I really didn't want that to end.
You
And
know
in
what, Tanya?
fact,
Tanya, I need
yeah,
to wipe a tear. I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I am sorry. My heart, I can feel this story to my core. My goodness.
It's going to end
Thank
up
you.
really good, though. Don't worry.
Thank you. Just your journey. Oh, it's just really, I'm just feeling this journey right now in me,
Yeah.
what you went through. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it
Thank
was,
you.
and having people blame you for what was happening too. We had the medical doctor that was assigned to our case blame us for what happened
Oh,
by, "You shouldn't have hired those midwives." I'm like, well, because nobody dies in the hospital. Give me a break, you know?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, actually, my mother-in-law ended up firing her from the case, followed her into the
Mm,
break room and said, "What's your problem?" She's like, "Well, these people." And she's like, "You're not helping. You need to go."
you need to go. Bye.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
here's the cool
Time out.
thing.
Bye.
All of these cool things kept happening. So the doctor that came in on the case was the same name as what my nieces and nephews called my mother for grandmother.
Oh,
That was his
okay.
last name. I'm not going to tell you his
Wow.
last name because I don't want to implicate him in anything, but
You know
here
what? But when
is,
you can start seeing trends in your life and you
well,
have to follow
you're
those
looking for
trends.
help, right?
Yeah.
You're going to look at these things. And also I asked, "Show me the good. Show it to me. I expect to see good here." So here comes Dr. Grandma, I'll say. That's not what they call her, but close enough. That's what we all called her. So here comes Dr. Grandma. He's going to help. And I'm like, "Are you kidding? That's his name?" And my husband's like, "This is kind of crazy." Okay, good. So he was wonderful. And um, it was a terrible experience. It was like everything that you would not want to have happen. I mean,
Right.
total opposite of what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then we came home and we had to start telling people. My neighbors came to the door. "We're so excited to see the baby." I'm like, "Baby didn't make it." Can you imagine? You're excited to tell somebody about your wonderful experience and that's what they get. She handed me a live sage plant. And did you know this? That if you eat raw sage leaves, it helps your milk flow stop.
No,
So
I
when
didn't
my
know that.
milk came in, which is a whole nother layer of sadness, I
Right.
started eating the sage leaves. She didn't know that. She just gave me the
Oh,
plant. And I
wow.
looked it up. How do I get this to stop? Because it was
Right.
intense eating.
Yes.
So, okay, so that's interesting. How did that happen? So then we're standing in the living room of our apartment, which had windows all across that looked out over a hill. And at the bottom of the hill is the Mississippi River. So I lived a block
Mm,
from the Mississippi. In front
okay.
of us are big, huge mansions that were bed and breakfasts. We're standing in the living room and a blue balloon goes floating by our windows. We're both looking at it
Out of
going,
nowhere.
what is this? We look outside, there's no parties, there's nothing going on around us. And this blue balloon floated by. And I'm like, did you see that?
Where did this
like,
come from?
This is insane. This is what you would say is, this is crazy, but no, this is the sane part. This is the part where you feel uplifted and nurtured and supported by source energy. This is God energy telling you it's okay, I'm here. Your baby's fine. So then we have to tell the bonus daughters who are real little, 5 and 6 they were.
Right.
Wait, they were 7 and 8, something like that. Anyway, the older one is like, she's ready to pack her bags and come take care of that baby. And she's so excited. And we have to tell her, the baby's not here. The baby's not going to be here. The baby's in heaven. So there's all of that. And then people at school. So I took a couple weeks off, and people at school are like, how's the baby? And I'd say, oh, he's doing great. Because who wants to hear that? I don't want to burden them with that. And I don't want to go through crying again with the person, because grief is exhausting. Everybody wants to cry with you. And you're like, I don't feel like crying today. Thank you. So it can be really, really difficult.
Right.
Because you feel like, well, we kept calling ourselves the grief police. Bring it on.
You and your husband were the grief police. Nice.
We had a friend that showed up who had just had severe dental surgery done, and he was in a lot of pain, and we were like, let us help you. We were so happy to see him. Because we were tired of being the ones in pain. We were tired. It's tiring. Dealing
with your own trauma, trying to help people process their own trauma.
So much worse for me because I have all the physical stuff. I'm thinking it's so much worse for him because he doesn't have any of the physical stuff that he has to deal with. I do, so I can distract myself. And, it's like, it was just amazing. The whole thing, vibrating at a different frequency when somebody tells you, well, it's not like you really were a mom or anything. I mean, people will say stuff. Oh, God needed an angel. No, God can make angels. God's God. I don't have to take my kid to be an angel. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so people say stuff because they don't know what they're saying, and they don't know how things are going to hit you, and you don't know how it's going to hit you because this has never happened before. So part of it is like, just where do I put all these feelings? That's why I started doing the webinar, 5 simple ways to go from grief to relief, because there's some really simple things you can do that really help that. So fast forward, that was April. July, I'm at the Blues Fest in Davenport. And my husband's a blues bassist. He plays in a blues band, and we go to the festival, and he's like, I want to go see the act on the main stage. I said, well, I want to see the guys in the tent because that's a much more intimate setting. And it was the Blind Boys of Alabama. And I had heard them on a record, and I was like, I got to hear these guys in person. Are you kidding? Bye. See you later. I'm going to the tent. I went into the tent, and I walked out different than I went in.
Wow.
I had a healing experience that was waves of love coming at me.
You got healed at a concert.
I got healed at a concert by the Blind Boys of Alabama. So I understand the healing power of the blues. Now, those guys sing blues, gospel, all kinds of stuff. And I just really felt spirit moving within me. And I had a major healing. I came out, and my husband and I met between the 2 stages, and he goes, are you okay? And I said, I'm really okay. I'm really, really, really okay. Yeah. Now, that's not to say that everything turned into rainbows and sunshine after that. It didn't. I had a lot of work to do. And then I had to finish school. I had to move. I took on 2 children because they came to live with us full time. I had every single one of the top 10 stressors that you can have in your life in 1 year. Every single one.
Wow.
So I know about overwhelm. I know what it takes to get out of that. I know how long it can take, and I want to help shorten that up for people. So here, let me tell you the rest of the story. This is so cool. So So the blind boys put a healing on me, and I was like, this is awesome. Skip forward about 18 years. I've raised the kids. Everybody's kind of on their own. Ed and I start a band, and because people are encouraging me, you can sing, girl, you can sing, you should go sing, you should do something with your husband. Why are you guys doing something together? So we put together a band, we start playing, and my mentor in blues singing, Miss Gloria Hardiman, you can look her up online, says, you know who I'm friends with? One of my very best friends is Jimmy Carter, not the president, the last original blind boy of Alabama is one of her best friends. She calls him up. She says, you won't believe this story. Let me tell you what happened. He's like, I want to meet her. So 3 years ago, I had dinner with them before a performance in Davenport, Iowa.
Your healers.
I
love it.
I had dinner with them. We have pictures taken with them. It was just the most beautiful experience. And then this year, I'm going to tell you guys, it's not official yet, but it's going to be in a couple days. I'm opening the Mississippi Valley Blues Fest on the 10th stage with my band. So I get to do for somebody else. I'm not kidding you. Who does this?
Nobody does.
I'm telling you, it's amazing.
You are the soul chiropractor, girl.
Got that right.
So you're the opening act. Your band
I'm on the 10th stage for the beginning of the festival. That's how it's showing up right now.
Congratulations.
And I sent my about page, which tells this story on the healingwiththeblues.com website. I sent that about page to, it says the whole story. I sent that page to the president of the Mississippi Valley Blues Society. He sent me back a message just yesterday that said, this is so powerful. I am so excited that you're going to be here. And I'm so happy that you're having this full circle moment. I'm telling you, folks, listen, if you can do the inner work and you want a guide to do that, I know how to do this.
Wow.
I've done it. And I've had more than that happen that comes full circle too. I've had a relationship with my father that we didn't speak really for 30 years. And I moved him out here 6 years ago this month to Iowa. He's a changed person. I asked him the other day, I said, when did you wake up? He said, about 5 years ago, Tanya.
Aww.
He's my best patient. He comes every week.
That, you know what, and that's, well, speaking of your patients, Dr. Tanya, speaking about your patients, what is the most prevalent challenge the people you work with face?
It's usually a form of depression that's brought on by either a trauma that they experienced long ago or by something that's ongoing.
Yeah.
So they're experiencing this depression. Life isn't happy. Life doesn't feel fun. They're not having fulfillment. They don't know what their purpose is. They're not clear about what they want in their life. And the reason why is because they haven't dealt with this debris that's holding on to them. I kind of think of it like overcoats. And what we do is we just keep removing these overcoats. So pretty soon you're like feeling light and fluffy instead of heavy. When we talk about taking responsibility in your life, and that is, when you hear me say that, you're thinking, oh, that sounds heavy, right? But really, when you start taking responsibility, that means you're able to respond to what's going on in your life. You're not shoving it under the rug. Oh, I'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
You're actually dealing with it in the time that it's happening in a way that's healthy. And that's what I show people. That's what I teach people. So there's lots of tools that you can use on your own, but I'm teaching a lot of people, like, how do you get out of that? How do you describe unconditional love to somebody that's never understood or felt it?
Yeah. Yeah. No concept of it.
Right. It's like trying to describe a color to someone who's been blind since birth.
Right.
There's
right.
no reference point.
Yeah.
But what happens when we do this kind of healing is we open up to allow source to come in to let that happen. And it's happened over and over again for my clients, where they feel, and you could speak to this, Kim, where they feel lighter as a result of the work that we do, even though we're going into some dark places. So it might feel like I'm in a really dark place right now, but actually what's happening is I'm walking through that with you. I'm showing you where to turn. I'm like the GPS for healing, for soul
Right.
healing. So what I'm doing is, my job is to be open to what source is giving me for you.
And what a
So
gift. What a
oh,
gift.
yeah. And to learn that it's a gift and not a curse, that's huge. So there's a lot of people that have this experience of like, I know I feel these things, but I don't know what to do with them.
Right.
And that's another thing that I teach is like, so you're asking me, what do people come with? They come with depression over loss, and it doesn't matter how the loss happened. I say it's specifically with women who've had stillbirth and pregnancy loss, but grief doesn't care how you got there. Grief can be from a lot of different things. And also people who know that there's something inside, but they don't know how to get to it. They're not sure where it is. They don't have a roadmap of how to get there. And it
Right.
takes somebody to come alongside and take your hand and say, now we're going to do this. Don't be scared. Because people go, we're going to go where? We're going to go into this dark place. Yeah, but it's going to be easy because I'm going to be there. And we're just going to go in and come out.
And how long does it take? How long does it really take? I mean, you're holding their hand,
And not
for the
literally
first,
either. I'm holding their hand energetically.
energetically, yes, because you're doing this through virtual telehealth,
Yeah.
telemedicine,
Yep.
telewellness
I'm on the phone with
technology.
people. If they're outside of the United States, I'm on Zoom or whatever other platform they like to use to make
Right.
them feel comfortable.
Which is another reason why I wanted to bring you on this program, is because
Mhm.
you're doing this remotely, and
Yeah, I've
it's
been doing this for
necessary.
7 years, 8 years now.
8 years, and getting tremendous testimonials from people who are saying, for the first time, I feel like I'm being seen. And they're not even in front of you, but they feel like they're being seen, they're being heard. When was the last time that your doctor believed you? It's like they feel your
Yeah.
presence there with them. So
Boy,
how long does it
yeah.
take to really feel relief from
Immediately.
some of those
It's
challenges?
immediate. It happens
You know,
like this.
and you're not even in the same room with them.
I
And
had a
that's
client that said to me, okay, you can watch her testimonial, Dorothy Hinman. She's on my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Tanya English. She was 89 when we started working together. She's since turned 90.
90.
Yeah, she
Love
was
it, love it.
she was really mourning the loss of her daughter-in-law, who was a spiritual sister with her, and her daughter-in-law passed away. I should say passed over, because where is anybody going? They're just hanging around. They're just at a different vibration, right? You can believe whatever you want. That's fine. You don't have to agree with me on that. But she was grieving over this loss, and it had been a while. And I said, well, how much longer do you want to grieve about this? Do you want another 3 years okay with you? Because you can do that if you want. She's like, no. I said, well, let's get to work. First session. My sessions are about an hour. Sometimes we go a little over. She's like, wow, I thought this would take weeks. I'm like, no, we're doing it right now. We're clearing this up right now. So when people are motivated and willing, we can go very quickly. It's when they go, I'm not ready to go in there. And I say, you know what? It's okay if you're not ready for that, because it'll come up again. It will come up again.
Yeah.
Life is like a spiral. It feels like, oh, I'm back here again. No, you're in a new place. It's just similar. So am I still getting blessings out of that same trauma that happened to me? Absolutely, I am.
Yeah.
Look, I get to talk to Kim about this right now.
Right.
This is
And you're
another
getting to
blessing.
talk to other doctors who are, for whatever reason, they're not sure if this is an area that they want to expand in their practice. But one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on is because it's definitely an area that they should be expanding in their practice. They should be looking.
Help. They don't care where they get it. Most people, if you can help them in some way, are glad to get the help. They just want the help.
Yeah.
And I don't prescribe drugs. I don't do any of that kind of intervention and people get healed. So here's the story that happened with Dorothy. We cleared a bunch of this stuff and she's like, I don't want to go for months. I just want weeks. And I said, okay, we'll do weeks with you. I'll make a little special thing for you. So we did 6 weeks. By the end of that, she's like, I'm having trouble with my hip. I'm like, okay, let's clear that up. She got up from where she was. We were on the phone. I think we were doing a video call though. She got up. She's like, well, I don't have any pain anymore. I'm like, okay, you're done. She's like, I'm going to take all the excursions on that Rhine River cruise I'm going on. I'm going to do all of them. I'm like, you should.
Right.
You should. And if you get into trouble, text me and I'll call you, or we'll get on video chat, because why not?
Yeah.
What's the problem there?
Right.
You
right.
don't want to
Let's
ask
take
for
care
help?
of it now.
You already did that. You already asked for help. I'm here.
Yeah. And again, and it even, I've had doctors on my program that I've interviewed, and they said, sometimes people, not only do they may not have the concept of unconditional love, but they don't even have a concept of what a doctor-patient relationship looks like when the doctor wants to listen to all of it, not just the small stuff, but the heavy stuff too. They don't have that concept because, primary care,
they've been taught not to.
They've been taught not to.
Yeah.
Yes. Both the doctors and the patients.
Absolutely.
Not to disclose.
Have you ever had a doctor apologize to you for anything?
Yeah. Well, good.
I'm sorry
question.
You waited so long in the waiting room. I'm sorry my staff was nasty to you. I'd love to have that one a couple of times. Mm-hmm. I mean, here's the thing. It's like they've taught, I'll just go off on this for just a tiny bit, but what they do in medical school is reduce people to jelly, and then they expect them to stay that way throughout their whole career. Right. And I'm telling you, it hasn't served anybody. We're the sickest industrialized nation in the world. We have more problems, and you're seeing mental health on the rise because they haven't been addressing it. They just throw drugs at it. Why do you think people have this? Because their hearts are broken, because they haven't been heard, because they haven't been listened to, because they're not valued. I mean, if you want a really grim statistic about this, look at how many mass shootings there have been in this year alone. Right. Domestic abuse is shooting through the roof because of COVID, because people are staying in the same place with the person that is driving them insane or is brutal to them, right? Or the person that needs mental health. This is why when I say soul chiropractor, I'm not moving bones around. I'm releasing the pressure that's on. I'm actually helping release the pressure. The person who's doing the healing is not me. It's the person I'm working with that's doing the healing. I'm just pointing them in the direction for them to get to it.
And so what are ways people experience energy blocks in their lives? If we are the healer and you're the director, then that means that, okay, I've done something and I'm experiencing an energy block, but I'm not even really sure what that is.
Yeah.
And
so
so
what does
how
it feel
are
like
you,
to have
yeah,
that?
So what are ways people are experiencing energy blocks in their
They're not
lives?
having fun in their life. There's no joy. Everything's a freaking chore.
Yeah.
Got that?
Yeah.
Everything's a chore. Relationships don't work. Unforgiveness is rampant in their life. Grudges are being held. I'm going to hold this grudge because they don't deserve to be forgiven. That's against you. That whole idea of every time you point a finger, there's 3 pointing back at you is true. Because when you're holding a grudge against somebody else, it's actually hurting you. So I don't know if you've ever seen a Datura seed pod. They're prickly. They're a sphere that has spikes all over it. They're a beautiful flower. Georgia O'Keeffe did lots of paintings of them. They're beautiful. Angel trumpets, people call them too. They're big, huge white flowers. They smell awesome, but their seed pod is awful looking. Okay. Now imagine putting that under your arm. Imagine putting
Ouch.
a spiky, yeah, that's what a grudge is. That's what a
Right.
grudge does. And you're hiding it. You don't want anybody to see that you're holding a grudge. So you squeeze a little tighter. Now you're hurting yourself some more. So
Yeah.
you see, forgiveness is the universal solvent. Forgiveness,
Mm,
forgiveness, forgiveness. How do you do it? You work with somebody like me that can walk you through it and clear the subconscious stuff that you don't even know is going on.
right.
You don't even realize how much of what you're doing is subconscious. You're not consciously aware of it.
Right. Right.
So we go in
Yeah.
there and find out what it is, but it's totally painless.
Yeah. Oh my
You
gosh.
might cry. That's not bad. Crying is cleansing. Cry it out. Somebody says to you, don't cry, say, I'm healing right now. Thank you. Let me cry. It's good for me to
Yeah.
cry.
Let me feel. Give me this chance to feel my emotions. Give me this chance to
And
feel the pain. You know,
when we
that's
don't deal
it.
with our emotions, they will deal with us.
Right.
And you won't
Right.
like it because it
And
causes
when
disease that turns into disease that makes you feel sick and crummy and you don't feel good about yourself. So those symptoms of feeling bad, feeling negative, not having fun, holding grudges, everybody's annoying, people are stupid. I mean, like we have all these things that we say that help us kind of feel that we're in charge, but it doesn't really, because when we're in charge, when we're like really allowing control to be from source instead of us thinking we have to do everything, life is
yeah.
so much easier. Oh my gosh,
Oh.
so much better.
Oh, yes, I agree with you. I agree with you, which is one of the reasons why, I ended up getting in contact with you when you were first introduced to me. It was during this pandemic, and as the COVID crisis is starting to lift, I can see what a tremendous gift you gave to me because as I was experiencing lockdown and the compassion I had for my team who were also experiencing lockdown with our children, lockdown with our spouses, our pets. I mean, everybody has been there. And you're right. Every day of that lockdown became just it was a grudge. It was horrible. I was grumpy. I mean, it just,
Yeah,
and then I could feel that attitude
yeah,
transitioning into body aches and pains in my body. So to the point where it actually hurt to get up and get moving, and knowing full well that I had to run a company and I had to be the leader
yeah.
for my
How
team who
about
was
that?
also in lockdown and
Right.
experiencing the same thing, the emotional overwhelm, the trauma. We had lost family members, we had lost clients to the pandemic, we had lost
Yeah.
colleagues and friends to the pandemic. So all of it was just burden after burden after burden, and it was weighing heavily on me, which is how um,
That was your
our
motivation
paths.
to say, let's do this,
Let's do
right?
this, Dr. Tanya. Let's do this
Yeah.
because I am stuck behind four walls and I need relief right now. And the fact that you were able to work remotely, in different countries is such a blessing. And I know that how important it is to relieve pain quickly,
Yep.
because my body's in pain. I can feel pain in my body, but I'm not thinking about, is there an emotional trigger? What have I been thinking about? Is there a
Right.
trauma that is unresolved? I mean, I can feel the pain, but I'm not tying it all together. All I
So
know
that's what
is,
I want. That's what I want people to know is how easily this happens. So let's do something right now. I'm
yeah,
going to have you do a little sense exercise. This will be really simple. So everybody who's watching, go ahead and do this with us. You can get the same
yeah.
benefit. It's a really to kind of bring it home how your thoughts create your physiology. So I want you to
Hmm.
close your eyes. With your eyes closed, imagine in
They're
front of
closed.
you, there's a cutting board, a lemon, and a knife. And the cutting board is beautiful, but this lemon is like so gorgeous. It's like a picture of a lemon. It's so perfect. And you put your hand on it, and now you can feel the oil from the lemon skin on your fingers. You pick up the knife and you take a slice through it. Now you can really smell this lemon. You can see the juice running on the knife, and you take another slice of that lemon and you take that wedge of lemon and you put it in your mouth and bite down. Now, do you have more saliva in your mouth? Raise your hand if you do.
I do.
If you don't, you need to get in touch with me right away, because this should have changed. And in fact, if we took the pH of your saliva before this and then after, your saliva would be more alkaline to counteract the acid of the lemon. That's how fast.
Wow. Of the lemon that I was just thinking about. And yes, I do have more saliva, and I love the taste of lemon. So immediately my body is like, yay, right. Lemon, lemonade, all of it.
So yeah, so your body's going, I'm getting ready for a lemon. And it's just your mind. So imagine how this works if you feel like somebody's following you down the street. You go into fight or flight response. Yeah. And then you kind of turn around and see it's just a plastic bag. You're still going to go into fight or flight response. It doesn't matter. It's your perception of what's happening that causes the physiology. If you've been in an abusive relationship with someone and you hear their footsteps coming to the front door, you know that cadence, you know what that sounds like, you know who that is, you go into fight or flight. It happens over and over again, so much so that now it's subconscious. Now you don't even realize that it's happening. You don't even know that it's happening. Your body starts to react without you being aware that there's something triggering it. I was working on a friend of mine outside on a table one day, on my massage table, and she had PTSD, and I saw her shift. And I said, what just happened? She said, a plane went over. That's what the trigger was.
Really?
A plane went over.
Okay.
And she got triggered and she went into fight or flight and she started having an episode. I was able to bring her out of it. But here's the thing. When people don't pursue that kind of healing, they can end up doing something permanent. And she did. And we lost her several years ago because she wasn't allowing herself to have that experience of healing. So it's partly that and partly a lot of other things. Obviously, it's somebody's life. But I just want to say, like, this is so simple to do that we can teach children how to take care of their state. And they're teaching emotional freedom technique in schools. Some places are. And that's the tapping technique. So we're going to do a little bit of that right now too. Is that okay with you, Kim?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's go right ahead and do that.
Did you have any pain that you wanted us to work on today?
I would say like lower back that goes all the way down my right sciatic nerve, like my right leg.
So that sounds like L3, by the way. So you need to get adjusted. But
thank you.
But let's do this. Let's do some EFT on that. Let me just check. Show me yes. Show me EFT. Okay. So we might hit on some things that are a little bit close to the bone here, but
okay.
It's okay. Know that everybody has these issues too. So I want to just have you start tapping right here.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you repeat what I say and do what I do. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Even though I have this pain, I love and accept myself.
Even though I have this pain, I love and accept myself.
Even though I have this lower back pain going down my leg, I love and accept myself.
Even though I have this lower back pain going down my leg, I love and accept myself.
Even though I still have this pain, I totally and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I still have this pain, I totally and completely love and accept myself.
Okay, now go to your eyebrows. All of this pain.
All of this pain.
Side of the eye. In my low back.
In my low back.
Under your eye. Down my leg.
Down my leg.
I can't relax about this.
I can't relax about this.
I have to be on guard.
I have to be on guard.
Maybe I don't know who I'd be if I didn't feel this way.
Maybe I don't know who I'd be if I didn't feel this way.
but I'm so tired of it.
But I'm so tired of it.
And now on your ribs below your breasts, and I want to let it go.
Oh, and I want to let it go.
And I can't let it go.
Oh, and I can't let it go.
I won't let it go.
I
Just one
won't let
in the
it go.
middle.
Oh,
Just right
I
in the
won't.
middle.
Just right in the middle.
Yep.
Okay.
I won't
There
let
it
it
is.
go.
I won't let it go.
You can't make me let it go. Right on your eyebrow in that first corner.
You can't make me let it go.
But what if I could? Side of the eye, right at the end of your eyebrow. But what if I could?
But what if I could?
What if I could just let it go?
What if I could just let this go?
I'm letting it go.
I'm letting it go.
I'm letting it go.
I'm letting it go.
I'm letting it all go.
Ooh, I'm letting it all go.
Take a deep breath. Now, what was your pain before we started? What number? 0 to 10? 10's the worst. 0's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say it was a 7. And yeah, it was a 7.
What is it now?
It's got to be. It feels like a 2, but I'm not stiff either. So the pain is a 2, but there's no stiffness either. Like I was constantly trying to shift to, because I wasn't comfortable.
Let's go again. Let's get it down.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
All of this pain.
All of this pain.
Side of the eye. I want to be in abundance.
Oh, I want to be in abundance.
I claim my abundance.
I claim my abundance.
I am abundant.
I am abundant.
It's safe for me to feel abundant.
It's safe for me to feel abundant.
It's safe for me to claim my abundance.
It's safe for me to claim my
just
abundance.
Right here under your collarbone, just those 2 spots right there.
Okay.
Yep.
There we are.
And then underneath your arms, way up high, like right around where your bra would go across.
Okay. There we are.
It serves me to feel abundant.
It serves me to feel abundant.
On the ribs below the breasts. And I love being abundant.
And I love being abundant.
I'm abundant financially.
I'm abundant financially.
Yeah, just nice and easy. I'm abundant in love.
I'm abundant in love.
I'm abundant in joy.
I'm abundant in joy.
I'm abundant in all good things. Right here on the side.
There we are. I'm abundant in all good things.
Okay, take a deep breath in. What's the pain level now?
Oh, that's 0. That's 0. Yeah, that feels good.
Quick.
Yeah, that feels good. You know what?
Why did I talk about abundance? You may be asking yourself.
I am asking that. Yeah, because, yeah. And
your low back is where your foundation is. It's the foundation of your life. It's where you have, what can I jump off of? We want that foundation, that financially stable foundation, so that we can jump off with ideas, with creativity. But that financial abundance is so important to us. So when we allow ourselves to feel it and to not keep going, I need, I don't have. That's right. Going to bring you more of that. So when we were tapping, you saw she may not feel in abundance, but when you tap on it and you're saying all these points that I'm having you tap on, that's emotional freedom technique. You can look it up. It's on my website, Quantum Healing International. You can get the points there. You can get that script there too. Totally free. My gift to you. When you're tapping on those points, you're tapping on acupuncture points. This is where life force is flowing through you. So it's really, really simple. And imagine teaching that to a child who's like feeling like nobody likes them. How many people have gone through that? I sure did. Nobody likes me. Nobody likes me, and it really sucks. You could do a tap and rant too and talk about how awful things are. And that's a great way to deal with your negative feelings. We call that a tap and rant. Margaret Lynch's work is wonderful on that.
And I love the fact that this can all be done remotely, in addition to the healing strategies that you already have in place just to
Yeah.
give people a level of comfort that they need to cope, to
I was
cope.
doing this with my sister yesterday. My sister is dealing with a very difficult experience of COVID.
Mm.
She and her son are both sick. She's been sick for several weeks now. I had it twice last year, once before they told us about it, and then once after. So there were a bunch of people that got sick at the end of 2019 and beginning of 2020. Before they started talking about this, it was here. Because I know at least a dozen people that were that sick. And when they started telling us what the symptoms were, I was like, oh, I had COVID in January.
Mm.
I got it again in October. Anyway, she's dealing with it now. And we did a tap and rant yesterday. And tap and rant is, this really sucks. I'm so tired of this effing problem. I feel like crap, and we do that. And then we end with, and I own my feelings. I acknowledge my feelings. I honor my feelings. And she's like, this was awesome. Let's do that again tomorrow. I'm like, you got it.
Good. You know what, Dr. Tanya, our time together today was so inspiring. And thank you for all that you're doing in your neck of the woods to keep your community healthy, well, stable, feeling their self-worth, feeling their value, all of that. And and also, you know what, why don't you, because we only have about 5 minutes left here, why don't you tell everyone again how they can hear you and your band on stage and your website and how to get in contact with you for their own
I'll give you all
healing.
of the things.
Yes, go ahead. I want to hear it all.
I'm so glad. Thank you, Kim. You're so generous. I appreciate that very much about you. You're a generous person, and you're abundant for sure. I do a live healing session every Tuesday morning at 9:30 Central. So once you join the group, private group on Facebook, Healing with the Blues, you can watch any of those. I've been doing them for a couple years, so you can watch all of those. You'll get the healing that we're doing in that, even though it may have happened months ago. When you watch those, just say yes, just reply in the comments, say yes, or whatever I'm asking you to do, and then just follow along. We don't do that type of healing every time. We do all different kinds of healing too. Some of it is just me channeling information to you too. So right. Healing with the Blues Facebook group. Healingwiththeblues.com is the website where you can sign up for our webinar, 5 Simple Ways to Go from Grief to Relief. We'll be doing that again October 4th to the 6th. That's going to be intense, but it's very simple stuff, but I'm going to go deep with it. So I want you to be aware that even though it says 5 Simple Ways, we're going to go deep and we're going to do healing in each session.
Right.
And then you can also find me on Facebook at the Tanya English Band. And that's where you can see videos of us. We're also going to put that page on the Healing with the Blues website too. So that there'll be a band page there where you can go. I'm just setting that up right now. And then the overarching business is quantumhealinginternational.com. You can schedule appointments there. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, we'll find you and get to you. It really is that simple. Just go to quantumhealinginternational.com. You'll see things that a scheduler there, there's testimonials there. You can go to the YouTube page, Dr. Tanya English, and you can find all kinds of stuff there too. So there's all kinds of ways for you to do healing with me. I love doing one-on-one and group sessions, and it's so much fun, and we all get healing. We all get healing. So while I'm showing Kim to do that, I'm getting that healing too. You're all getting the healing. When you participate in life, you can't help but get healed. So I
and you have other doctors. You have other doctors in your group as well that are attending.
Yeah, we have a lot of interesting people in that group, and it's right now, I think we're a little bit over 200 people in the group. There's a smaller group that shows up live. You can be one of those lucky people because I'll work with you. You send me stuff ahead of time. If you send me a text ahead of time and you want to come on, do that. Let yourself participate, but join the group. That way we can tell you about the things that are coming up too and allow you to participate in those things. And I go on live all the time in that group, I go on the Tanya English page, which is my personal page. I have a LinkedIn. You can go there and find me on LinkedIn as well. And you can always set up a 15-minute consult with me. That's always available.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love
and we
it.
do healing in those consults. I want to tell people, like, they think that all I'm going to do during that 15 minutes is sell to them. No. We're going to do healing. You're going to get to talk about what you need. And then we're going to find out if there's a next step for you that I can provide for you. But we're going to do healing too. Well, it's always healing.
Dr. Tanya, thank you so much for spending time. I'm going to disconnect from Facebook Live for a moment, but thank you so much for attending. Hold on for just a second while I disconnect. 1 second, please.